Assalamualaikum.
Ya, dokter.
Saya Aziz ya. Who is the presenter siapa?
Presenter saya dengan Faizal Ishak.
So boleh start lah kan?
Ah,
Okay lah. Start lah. I'm driving. It's okay lah. I'm hearing kan.
okay.
Okay, next start. Okay.
Faizal. Cik Faizal.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hear you. Ustaz? Boleh chat terus Ustaz? Kau mute lah.
Yeah. Yes.
Boleh start terus. Betul cakap
Boleh.
boleh.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Faizal bin Ishak. Before that, let me know if my voice is not clear. Okay. So, the chief complaint is Shahril, 8 months old Malay boy with underlying pathology of palate, presented to emergency department of Hospital Tunku Ampuan Afzan with a complaint of worsening bluish discoloration. According to the patient's mother, he was brought to the hospital when she noticed that her son was shivering and his palms and soles becomes more bluish than usual and were cold to touch. The episode occurred when her son was breastfed. During the episode, she stated that her child was still breathing normally. She immediately brought him to the hospital, and she also complained that there was no history of interrupting feeding, prolonged feeding, or profuse sweating during feeding. And then his mother mentioned that usually patient had a mild bluish discoloration when he was crying or during cold weather, but it resolved spontaneously after being consoled and put on socks to keep warm. During the current episode, patient was not crying and there was no choking noticed by mother. Upon further questioning, patient had fever prior to the episode for 2 days. There was no documented temperature at home and fever was not accompanied with chills, rigor and night sweat. His mother gave him syrup paracetamol, but fever did not resolve. Fever was associated with runny nose for 2 days. The nasal discharge was clear in color. Patient also had history of sick contact from his elder brother. Upon arriving to emergency department, mother noticed that the patient had a rapid breathing. However, she does not recall if there was flaring of nostril and grunting. Then he was immediately brought to the pediatric intensive care units and was monitored there. Otherwise, his mother denied any cough, changes of voice, vomiting, loose stool, and loss of consciousness. She also stated that the child was still active until he was feeding before his periphery turned blue. Mother also never heard the child snoring and there was no loss of appetite, poor feeding, and loss of weight noted by her. She also denied symptom of seizure like jerky movement, uprolling of eyeball, urinary incontinence, and drooling of saliva. There was also no preference of limb prior to the cyanotic episode and no facial drooping noted by the mother. Besides, mother also denied any urinary tract infection symptoms such as hematuria, increased urinary frequency, no family history of congenital heart disease. And then for systemic review, for the respiratory system, no cough, sputum production or hemoptysis, no noisy breathing heard. And then for the cardiovascular system, no shortness of breath and or ankle swelling. Patient was able to lie flat on bed. For alimentary system, there was no diarrhea or constipation. The stool color was normal without blood and pale color stool. For the genitourinary system, no abnormalities such as faulty urine, hematuria, and changes in urinary frequency. And then for hepatometabolic system, no yellowish discoloration of skin and sclera. And then no episode of fits or loss of consciousness. For musculoskeletal, no muscle wasting and weakness of any limb. Movement was not impaired. For hematopoietic system, no pallor, epistaxis, and bleeding tendency or bruising noticed. For the past medical and surgical history, patient was diagnosed with tetralogy of Fallot in neonatal intensive care unit. He was 6 days old and there was a murmur reported by the doctor to the guardian. Patient was then seen by a pediatric cardiologist HTAA and echocardiogram was done. And then for the drug history, patient was on syrup propranolol 3 times per day. Patient is compliant to medication and follow up. There is no non-drug allergy and food allergy. For the birth history, antenatally it was uneventful. His mother did not have any problem during the pregnancy, such as diabetes mellitus or pregnancy-induced hypertension. Internally, he was born at full term at 40 weeks, 3 days via spontaneous vaginal delivery with birth weight of 3.2 kg. The delivery process was uneventful. Postnatally, he was admitted to the SCN due to hypoglycemia and neonatal jaundice that required phototherapy for 1 day. He was later transferred to an ICU after doctor noticed a murmur for monitoring. After some investigation, he was diagnosed with tetralogy of Fallot. For immunization history, the patient has completed the immunization up to his age, and then no history of allergic reaction after each immunization. For developmental history, the patient had normal developmental milestone for every aspect, just like for gross motor, is able to crawl and sit unsupported. Fine motor, he reached for object and transfer it to another hand. For speech and language aspect, he babbles and turn head towards sounds. And then for social, he has stranger anxiety. And then for nutritional and diet history, the patient is still breastfed. No formula milk was introduced. Weaning diet started at 6 months old, where he was given rice, porridge, and nestum. He is currently eating 3 times per day with 7 spoons of nestum and biscuits in between. Overall, his mother said that he was has small increase of weight but a steady increase in height. And then for the family history, patient is the youngest child in the family. His eldest brothers are 5 years old and also 3 years old. Both parents are well and have no non-medical illnesses. No family history of seizure or epilepsy. For the social history, the family income is about 2,000 ringgit per month. Father worked as a security while his mother is a housewife. They live in a wooden house with adequate water and electricity supply. The nearest healthcare from their house is 5 minutes away, which is Clinic Desa Tanjung Lumpur. The time taken to reach HTAA from their house is 10 to 15 minutes. And then we proceed to physical examinations. And for the general examination, which is done on the 3rd day of admission, the child was sleeping soundly on the bed. He was, however, not in pain or respiratory distress. He has good hydration status and a normal body breath. IV lines was attached to his right leg On peripheral examination, the child has one periphery, but the sole and palms are mildly blue. There was no clubbing, palmar erythema or palmar pallor. Capillary fill time was less than 2 seconds. Peripheral pulses were felt with good volume and regular rhythm. There was no single palmar crease or clinodactyly observed. The BCG scar was noted on left upper arm. The head size and shape is normal. There was no head swelling or injury. There was no abnormal facies features such as presence of epicantic fold, flat nasal bridge, shortness or slanting eyes. And then the patient was then examined again when he was awake. On eye examination, there was neither pallor or no jaundice. The pupils of both eyes were equal and constricting in response to light. Both ears reveal earwax with no sign of infection or ear discharge. There was nasal discharge noted which was clear and watery. On oral examination, oral hygiene was good. Throat was not injected, mucosa was moist, and the tonsils were not enlarged. There was no abdominal swelling, lymphadenopathy, or abnormal pulsation noted on the neck. There was no bilateral ankle swelling. For the anthropometric measurement, the chest weight is 7 kilogram, with between 3rd to 5th centile, and then the height is 70 centimeter, between 25 to 50 centile. The body mass index is 14.28 kilogram per meter squared. The vital sign, the blood pressure is 100 per 64 milligram mercury, which is normal. For the heart rate is 10 beats per minute, normal. Respiratory rate 40 beats per minute, normal. Temperature is 37 Celsius, febrile. Oxygen saturation is 88%. For the cardiovascular examination, pulses felt on peripheral were good in volume with regular rhythm. There was no collapsing pulse, no visible or raised jugular venous pressure, no surgical sac or dilated vein, and visible pulsation or pericardial burst was noticed. On palpation, apex beat felt at 4 intercostal space at left mid-clavicular line. There was no thrill palpable, but parasternal heave can be appreciated. On auscultation, first and second heart sound is heard with an ejection systolic murmur. The grade was 3, which heard best at left upper sternal border, which radiate to the back. For the respiratory examination, there was no chest deformity or surgical scar since. No chest, the chest expansion was normal and equal in both sides. Tactile conformity was normal. Both lungs were resonant in all zones during percussions. The vesicular sound were heard and vocal resonance were normal. For the abdominal examination, on inspection, the abdomen was symmetrical, flat, and moved with respirations. There was no mass palpable at the abdomen. There was no hepatomegaly and splenomegaly, and the kidney was not bulgable. And then for the neurological examinations, on examination of motor system, the muscle mass and strength were normal for both upper and lower limb with no fasciculation. The muscle tone and power were all normal, reflex also normal. For musculoskeletal system, there was no abnormal posture, no abnormal movement, or no obvious deformity on both and lower limbs. No muscle wasting or hypertrophy was noted. To summarize, the patient, Shahril, 8 months old Malay boy with underlying pathology of pellets, presented to HTA with worsening bluish discolorations of palms and soles, which happened during feeding. Prior to the cyanotic episode, patient had a sick contact with his elder brother and patient had developed fever. Fever was associated with runny nose and clear nasal discharge, but no cough or sore throats. In emergency department, patient started to develop rapid breathing before he was sent to the PICU for further management. Usually, patient's peripheral limbs turn blue whenever he was crying or under cold weather, but resolve spontaneously with consolation or being kept warm. Patient was diagnosed with tetralogy of Fallot after birth and never admitted to the hospital since then. Physical examination on third day of hospitalization revealed that the patient has an ejection systolic murmur with grade of 3, and the murmur is graded to the back and best heard at the left upper sternal border. And there is also parasternal heave can be appreciated. I
Okay.
think that's all.
Alright. So, what is your current diagnosis? Current complete diagnosis?
For my professional diagnosis, I think this the patient have hypercyanotic spells secondary to tetralogy of Fallot and complicated with upper respiratory tract infection.
Bukan. Secondary itu the causes of the spell tuh tadi the infection, the fever tu kan.
Oh, secondary.
Underlying lah TOF, bukan secondary itu
Oh,
TOF. So underlying dia TOF. So patient TOF tuh kalau ada increase oxygen demand, dia akan develop spell ya. Itu can be infection macam ni, demam, can be crying, and so on and so forth lah. Any situation that lead to increase oxygen consumption or demand. Okay.
Okay.
So we go back to chronologically ya. So but at STA dia SVD term ya. Term SVD ya, tak ada apa-apa ya.
Term.
Birth history dia. Alright. Underlying antenatal tak ada? GDM ke apa-apa?
Tak ada. Normal.
Ini full juga. Ini full ya antenatal ya.
Yes.
Okay. Birth weight tadi berapa? Birth weight, berat lahir?
3.2 kg.
Okay. And then stay in SEN kan sampai D6 tu ke discharge patient baby ini?
SCN.
Kenapa dia stay sampai D6 tu? Yang noted murmur at D6 kan? Umur 6 hari kan? D3. Oh, umur 3 hari noted murmur.
Oh, ya, betul.
Sorry? Hello?
Yes, betul.
Buka betul-betul birth history tu. Jadi kena faham the story of patient with congenital heart disease tu macam mana. Macam mana dia? Lahirkan term SVD tak ada apa-apa kan?
Yes, betul.
So kenapa 3 hari stay kat SEN? You kena cari tahu. Ada jaundice ke apa-apa?
Jaundice. Jaundice.
So fototerapi je kan?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Fototerapi.
Itulah. Sometimes at birth we do not noted anything. Patient with heart disease tu at birth sometimes, bukan sometimes, most of the time yang usually noted murmur at birth tu PDA je, yang lain-lain later lah. PST usually after 2 weeks, sometimes after 2 months. TOF pun sometimes 4 months baru nampak. Ini at 3 days dengan murmur ya. But cyanotic kan masa tu kan, tak biru kan?
Cyanotic tak.
Ada noted bila dia start biru tu? Tak ada apa-apa. Tak ada tertulis kat situ.
Start biru ada. Dia tak mention doktor.
Tak mention lah. Okay.
Usually
kena
after crying.
Actually kan TOF tu dia cyanotic ke acyanotic?
TOF cyanotic.
Cyanotic tu always blue ya. Memang bukan start at birth. At birth maybe still pink tapi once develop symptom usually dia akan always blue.
doktor.
Sekejap ya. Saya pakai ni sekejap ya.
Okey. Okey.
Hello.
Yes.
Apa tadi? The history of cyanosis ya. So dia kurang ya di apa di case right up tu dia tak sebut bila start biru tu. Alright. Itulah. So dia just cakap noted murmur at day 3 and then apa echo by Dr. Amir barulah apa tahu TOF.
Okey. Doktor,
Yes.
kiranya infection tu yang macam buat hypersomatic speller, doktor.
Iyalah. Increase oxygen demand dia. Masa biasa dia akan start biru always blue kan. Masa ya nanti your PE juga nanti apa kena bukan your PE, the PE kat situ kena lagi apa improve kena assess lah masa buat CVS examination. First assess blue or not blue kan. Tapi SPO tu 88% ya. Biasa kalau 88% tak nampak sangat biru dia. Boleh je letak still pink or slightly blue apa, slightly blue discolorization kalau memang nampak ya. Kalau tak nampak tulis pink apa, letak pink tak apa because 88%. So macam tu. And then after diagnosed at 3 days tu, the story should be continued kan. Sampai umur 8 bulan apa story dia? Discharge terus ke? Kan on propanolol kan, Dr. Amir started propanolol.
Propanolol.
And then tak pernah masuk ward ke, tak refer IJN ke?
Never hospital until since this current admission.
Memang kat rumah ya?
Yes.
And then monthly visit in KK, vaccination macam mana?
Yes, doktor.
Tadi immunization history?
Complete up to his age.
Complete pun lah, updated lah. Complete, tak ada vaccination complete sampai bila-bila tak, kita tak akan pernah complete vaccination. Nanti umur tua dan nak pass away pun still need vaccination. Saya tak suka you sebut complete ya. Updated lah, up to age pun boleh. Tak ada yang pernah complete pun. Patient kan ikut program KKM dia tak dapat apa rotavirus tak dapat, hepatitis A tak dapat, varicella tak dapat. Mana cakap complete? Complete tu kalau dapat semua all available vaksin, itu sampai tua baru complete ya. Okay, so memang never admission, apa only visit KK pun well growth ya. Sekarang current weight berapa? Halo. Current weight berapa?
7 kilogram.
7 berapa? 8 month old. Oke lah, dia kurus sedikit aja.
8 months.
Ya tak sampai FTT lagi tapi ya undernourished lah. Oke. So, never being admitted, no issue ya. Memang tak pernah refer IJN ya? Atau tak tahu? Tak tulis dari situ ya? Masa apa? Masa your examination tak ada surgical scar, tak ada ya?
Ada, doktor.
Ada ya, mana? So okay lah, no issue until this current admission. Admit bulan berapa dia? tarik case write up tu?
Admission 9 March this year.
March ya, 2020. Sekejap saya naik lift dulu, maybe lost connection sekejap.
Okay, doktor.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, doktor.
Yes, doktor.
So itulah maknanya no issue until this current admission yang bulan 3 tu patient develop hypersynaptic spell. Actually patient TOF kan cyanotic, so should be always blue, tapi lah kalau 88% memang tak nampak sangat. Masa hypersynaptic spell dia akan develop deep blue, more bluish visualization and distress. Nanti you baca di manajemen apa, adalah kat this protocol tu. Kasih oksigen and then knee chest position, bagi IV morphine, IV propanolol, maybe sodium bicap, maybe transfusion kalau dia anemia. Alright, so I think that's all the issue. Yang PE tadi PE of CVS ya. You tadi dah sebut no distress, betul. Ada lagi yang dua penting apa, general examination tu untuk CVS. You kena sebut color kan? Tadi tak sebut color kan tadi?
Color.
Kat situ tak ada. CVS examination or general pun ada nampak sebut pink ke blue, tak ada.
No color and jaundice.
Itulah kena sebut clearly pink atau blue lah kan. Memang sepatutnya blue, tapi kalau 88% maybe tak nampak, tak apa. Ya. Okay, and then another one yang penting tu in general apa? Uncolor, no distress, 2, 3 apa? You dah sebut tadi semua detail tu. No syndromic features ya. Memang ada Down syndrome ke dia? Tak ada kan?
Tak ada.
Kalau tak ada Down syndrome, ya sebut awal je, simple masa general examination, no syndromic features, selesai, tak payah every part of the exam you sebut tak ada palmar crease ke apa, single palmar crease ke apa, tak payah. Sebut je awal-awal mula-mula tak ada no syndromic features pun cukup. And then another one usually maybe oral hygiene, tapi kan still 8 months ni tak ada lah masalah sangat oral hygiene ya. Okay, and then go to periphery, pass to volume and regularity tadi yang ada disebut regular and good volume ya. And then radiologi femoral buat tak? Tak ada kat situ ya, CVS. Tengok.
Tak ada.
Hello?
No collapsing pass je. No collapsing je. Dimension.
Collapsing
no
je.
Collapsing.
Radio femoral delay kena buat ya. Okay, tu. And then stigmata endo IE tak apalah you sebut. And then go precordial inspection, tak ada scar ya tadi ya. No visible apex speed, expansion maybe equal kan. And then palpation, apex speed kat mana tadi? Strill HIF ada kan?
From intercostal space external HIF.
Ada. Yang apex speed kat mana?
Fourth intercostal space.
Fourth, lateral ke medial ke on MCL? Vertical line dia. On MCL, no displace-nya. Okay. Okay lah. So, jumlah sangat biasa kalau klasik TOF tu kan dia boot shape heart kan. So, apex dia akan displace tapi only lateral. Not tak sampai kardiomegali. Dia boot shape je kan. Apex dia kat lateral tapi tak turun ke bawah. Kalau kardiomegali, dia bariat apex. Lateral and downward. Dia ICS 6, 7, 8 maybe. Kalau TOF ni displace only but not buried apex, ya kita sebut lifted apex. Tapi yang ini tak nampak sangat ya, not lateral to MCL. Okey lah, tak apa. And then murmur yang you dengar tu murmur apa?
Dalam kisah ini mention ejection systolic.
Ya, apa? What interpretation of murmur tu? Apa your diagnosis of murmur tu apa? You ada apa itu? Murmurnya apa yang you dengar tu? What valvular abnormality? Yes? PS murmur must be heard ya. Kalau TOF, PS murmur should be heard ya. Kalau tak ada PS ya bukan TOF. VSD is there kan, TOF for ini kan VSD, tapi sometimes VSD kan very big, sometimes tak dengar sangat murmur, tak apa, no issue ya. Parasternal heave yang penting, PS murmur yang emas, dan parasternal heave, so you jumpa patient with right ventricular hypertrophy, so itulah TOF ya. So settle lah, CVS examination tu this simple je. So you tahu dia apa, cyanotic biru, SpO2 88% kan, and then jumpa parasternal heave, maybe apex pedia display sikit, and then PS murmur, itulah TOF ya. Because you jumpa patient cyanosis, cyanotic congenital heart disease, PS, right ventricular hypertrophy. So another two yang VSD dengan overriding aorta tak dengar lah. You can see VSD and overriding aorta on echo. Okay, dah clear?
Okay, dah clear.
Itu je simple. Manajemen tadi saya sebut simple lah, you belajar sendiri ya in pitch protocol. Nak tanya apa? Dah?
Kiranya kalau TOF boleh possible lah dengan dua murmur.
Boleh, kalau VSD dia tak besar, you can hear the VSD murmur as well. Tapi kalau macam ni tak ada VSD murmur, tak apa. Yang PS tu must be obvious. Karena sebab kenapa, you kena baca pathophysiology ya. Kenapa dia biru? Karena RVOT obstruction, karena PS tu darah tak boleh masuk ke paru, tak boleh dapatkan oksigen. And then yang overriding aorta tu receive poor oxygenated blood from right ventricle. Jadilah dia biru. Oksigen yang ke aorta tu yang to the peripheral to finger yang you check SpO2 tu kurang oksigen. So jadilah dia cyanosis ya. So kalau sebab dia cyanotic ya PS tu, and then masa dia hyperkinetic spell akan perlu need more oxygen, and then supply tak cukup. Sometimes dia ada infundibular spasm from proximal of pulmonary artery itu. Dahlah dia ada PS, dia ada spasm kat situ, infundibular spasm. Dia jadilah pulmonary blood flow dia lagi sikit kan. So oxygenation dia lagi sikit. Yang sampai paru lagi sikit, dapat oksigen lagi sikit, dia lagi biru maknanya. SpO2 akan pasti decrease much more. Kalau normal macam kat ward dia 88%, masa spell ya maybe 70, 60% or maybe less ya. Okay?
Okay, betul.
Alright, dah? Tanya apa lagi? Dah?
Tak ada dah.
Can I ask?
Okay.
Regarding cyanotic, the cyanotic will remain in the patient until surgery done ke doktor?
Yes lah. Surgery itu macam-macam. Apa je? Faisal jawab operation TOF apa? Ada dua big group. Can be, tak tahu ya Faisal. Tahu tak?
Modified blood
bitisan tu is palliative procedure actually. Dia supaya aliran darah paru, pulmonary blood flow dia lagi banyak. Karena PS kan pulmonary blood flow sikit kan. So kita buat bitisan, shunt from Mana lupa. From
subclavian
vena cava to
Subclavian.
pulmonary artery. Ya, from subclavian ya, betul. Itu pulmonary artery. So jadilah dia ada blood flow, pulmonary blood flow dia banyak sikit supaya dapat oksigen lagi banyak. Kalau post bitisan, SPO itu akan improve. Kalau sometimes TOF ada yang 70% ya before bitisan. After bitisan boleh naik 80, 85 atau macam ini kan kalau 88% tak payah nak buat bitisan kan. That's why dia tak pergi AGN, tak payah buat apa-apa. Ini yang paliatif untuk rescue. Tapi actually the definitive procedure for TOF ya repair lah. Di repair kan PS dia di kita buat ballooning supaya tak ada stenosis. Di-dilate kan, we dilate the pulmonary valve tu, and then close the VSD, kembalikan aorta from left ventricle, selesai. That simple kan, bukan simple, very complicated procedure, and then not all patient can go through this procedure. Tengoklah kalau tak dapat repair ya bitisan only lah. Okay, paham?
Faham.
Tak faham karena laju sangat ya, nanti baca lagi, cari pak pediatrik kardiologi ya kat library ya, atau kalau didapat PDF pun boleh. Okay. Alright. Dah. So second case ni. Hello.
Aziz. Okay.
Boleh second case.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can everyone hear my voice? Kalau tak clear, beritahu Okay, my patient Arina, 3-month-old Malay girl, with underlying ventricular septal defect, was brought to a department, STA to rapid breathing for 1 day duration. This history was taken from the mother. She was apparently well until 2 days prior admission when she developed mild fever for 2 days duration. The fever was not associated with chill, rigor, and fit. The temperature was not documented, and the patient was being give syrup paracetamol, and the fever resolved. And the patient denied any contact with any sick people, and also denied to live in any dengue-prone area or went to any dengue-prone area. That's 2 days before admission. A day prior to admission, the patient developed cough, which is chesty in nature. No sputum. It's no whooping cough, not a barking. There was no facial congestion or cyanosis. The patient was found to be less active and have sleep disturbance and reduced oral intake to only 1 bottle, which normally the patient can tolerate up to 4 to 5 bottles per day. On the day of admission, the patient developed rapid breathing. It was not noticed to be, it was not associated with noisy breathing, only rapid breathing. And the mother also noticed that there is subcostal and intercostal recession. No bluish discoloration of the peripheral and also of the patient. The patient seems to be pale and weak on the day of admission. Was brought to HTAA and being put on nasal prong with 1 liter per minute. Okay. Otherwise, there is no history of vomiting, loose stool, or constipation. No foul smelling urine or concentrated urine. There was no history of ear discharge and eye discharge. There's no contact with sick people. Otherwise, there's no asthma and atopy history in this family. For systematic review, the patient was found to have loss of appetite and fever for 2 days. Otherwise, there was no loss of weight, rashes, night sweats, and fatigue. As for skin, there's no yellowish discoloration and no itchiness, no bluish over his body. Head and neck, there was no lump or other abnormalities in the head and neck region, alimentary system, And abdomen seems to be, there's no significant finding. There was no vomiting, dysphagia, heartburn, regurgitation, abdominal distension, indigestion, increase in flatulence, rectal bleeding, incontinence, prolapse, or tenesmus. As for respiratory system, there was cough, but no non-productive cough. There was no hemoptysis, dyspnea, hoarseness, so wheezing, and chest pain or exercise tolerance. So for cardiovascular system, there were no chest pain, no dyspnea, no orthopnea. The patient was able to lie down properly. There's no limp pain, no ankle edema, and bluish discoloration in hands and feet. For genitourinary system, there were no suprapubic or loin pain. There's no signs that the mother noticed that there is no problem with the sexual, the reproductive, not the sexual organs. For hematological system, there was no pallor, no epistaxis, and bleeding tendencies. As for musculoskeletal, there was no joint pain, no other symptoms that suggest for any musculoskeletal problem, since the patient is still 3 months old. For past medical and surgical history, this is her first hospitalization. She has underlying ventricular septal defect, which is diagnosed in HTA at 1 month age. She had elective surgical appointment at IJN in the next 3 months for repair of her septal defect. However, the patient need to achieve certain weight that given by the doctor in charge to do the surgical procedure. Otherwise, she has no other medical illness such as asthma. She denied any similar symptoms before. For drug history, she was currently on diuretic, which furosemide and spironolactone, and captopril due to her heart condition to manage her blood pressure. There are also no history of taking any supplement, hormonal agent, or traditional medication. She has no known drugs and food allergy. Immunization history, according to her mother, this patient is vaccinated to the current immunization following the schedule of the Ministry of Health of Malaysia for 3 months old age. There was no complication of immunization, such as any allergic reaction or fever or rashes happened in this patient. For birth history, antenatally was uneventful. The mother had no gestational diabetes or preeclampsia during pregnancy. The antenatal was okay. Intrapartum, the child was born in HDAA with a spontaneous vertex delivery at 28 weeks of gestation. However, her weight is 2.67 kilogram at 10% time. Postpartum history was uneventful. Patient had no complication after birth, no pathological, but was suspected to have physiological jaundice in this patient from second day of life until about 1 month duration. However, there wasn't no phototherapy needed. Only the doctor advised for the mother to increase breastfeeding. For growth and developmental history, according to her mother, the child is growing well. Growing child of this patient is a chat. The growth charge seems to be a bit lower than the milestone, a bit lower than the normal. However, her head, currently she has slight head lag. Her head was occasionally pops forward. For fine motor, she was able to follow the object for side to side at 180 degrees, which is normal for 3 months old. Her hands held loosely and grasp object placed in hand. For speech and language, she was able to turn head to sound. She was now able to laugh to and respond to people. For nutritional history, she was exclusively breastfed from birth until 2 months old. And after that, she is on formulated milk, which is essential because her mother is too busy for her daily schedule for her work. Normally, she will drink about 4 ounces per serving for 4 times per day, which is total of 16 ounces per day. As for family history, she was second child out of 2 siblings. She has an older sister, which her age is 2 years. There was no similar symptoms among family members. Parents are healthy with no non-medical illness. No history of malignancy was in the family. The mother denied history of diabetes mellitus and hypertension in her family lineage and husband's family lineage. For social history, she lived at Taman Murni, Sungai Sap, with her parents, grandmother, and older sister, which combined 5 members household. She lived in terrace house that is supplied with clean water and electricity. Her father's job is a technician, wiring man, and her mother is a clerk. The taking care of the child is involved by grandmother during the day, both her parents go to work. The total income in the house is around 1,000 per month. Her father is smoker, however, denied to be an indoor smoker. He smoked outside of the house, not in front of children. That's for the history. As for physical examination, general, she's lying comfortably on bed with her mother at her side. She was alert and conscious. There was no pain, but in respiratory distress in evidence of subcostal and intercostal recession and tachypneic of about 45 breath per minute. In hand examination, there was no clubbing and peripheral cyanosis. The hand was warm and capillary retrieval time was less than 2 seconds. There was no rashes and bruises. Skin turgidity was normal. In face examination, there was no sclerosis jaundice and pallor. No sunken eyes was noted. In mouth examination, there was no white coated tongue and central cyanosis. She had branular insertion at the dorsal part of her left hand without any active infusion. No lymph node was palpable. There was no pedal edema. As for vital signs, her blood pressure was 89 or 53 millimeter mercury, which is normal tensive. Heart rate 113 beats per minute, which is good volume, with good volume and regular rhythm. Respiratory rate is 68 breath per minute, which is tachypneic, and temperature 37 degrees Celsius. For anthropometric measurement, her current weight was 3.7 kilogram, and her height 52 centimeter. Both of this measurement parameter is below 30 percentile. For respiratory examination, on inspection of the chest, there was no chest deformity, scars or rashes. The chest moved with respiration, no wheezing sounds was noted. On palpation, the trachea was centrally located, the apex pit was palpable. At left fifth intercostal space, the chest expansion was not done. On percussion, it was resonant all over both lungs. On auscultation, the air entry was good, equally for both sides. Vesicular blood sounds was heard. The vocal resonance was equal bilaterally. However, there was bilateral lower zone crepitation was heard over the lung. For cardiovascular examination, on inspection of the precordium, there was no visible palpation, no surgical scars or deformity noted. On palpation, the apex beat was at the left fifth intercostal space at mid-axillary line. Mid-axillary. No thrill or parasternal heave felt on auscultation. The first and second heart sound was heard. There was murmur, best heard at middle left sternal edge and not related to inspiration and expiration. It was pansystolic murmur grade 4 as there is palpable thrill. It was believed due to the ventricular septal defect condition of her heart. For abdomen examination, non-inspection, the abdomen was not distended, it moved with respiration. The umbilicus was centrally located and inverted. The inguinal orifice was intact, no surgical scar and dilated vein noted. On palpation, origins of the abdomen were soft and non-tender. The liver and spleen are not palpable. The kidneys are not palpable. On percussion, the abdomen was resonant, no organomegaly noted. The shifting, dullness, and fracture was negative. On auscultation, the vowel sound was normal. As for a neurologic examination, the patient was conscious and alert, all cranial nerves were intact. There was no muscle wasting or fasciculation. Muscle tone, power, and reflex on both upper and lower limb were normal. The sensation was intact. As for ear, nose, and throat, oral cavity appeared clear, throat was not injected, and the tonsil was not enlarged. The discharge from the ear or no discharge from ear was noted, and that's all. And for summary, Nur Erina, 3 months old girl infant, presented to emergency department of HTA for 1 day duration, proceeded with mild fever and cough. It was associated with less active, unable to sleep, and reduced oral intake. Otherwise, there was no bluish discoloration of lips or tongue. There was no vomiting, loose to and contact with sick people. For physical examination, the child is in respiratory distress in evidence of subcostal and intercostal recession and also tachypneic. For respiratory examination, there was bilateral lower zone crepitation. As for cardiovascular examination, apex beat was displaced and there is pansystolic murmur, grade 4, best heard at middle left sternal edge. Otherwise, other system was unremarkable. I think that's all for the history and also physical examination. As for provision and diagnosis, the provisional diagnosis for let's just common presentation with fever and also rapid breathing could be caused by acute bronchiolitis due to the positive signs of fever, chesty cough, tachypnea, and associated with chest recession, crepitation upon auscultation. However, the differential could be caused by community-acquired pneumonia or newly diagnosed bronchial asthma secondary to pneumonia. I think that's all.
Sekejap ya, tunggu sekejap ya.
Boleh doktor.
Hello,
Ya doktor.
can you hear me?
Ya,
Bising ya? My voice clear tak?
Your voice can be heard doktor.
Ah. So summarize balik, Pak. Tak dengar sangat tadi yang apa? Umur berapa tadi dia?
3 months old doktor.
3 months. Okay. And now your current diagnosis apa? Pneumonia ya?
Acute bronchiolitis for different.
Bronchiolitis ya? Okay, underlying VSD kan? Not in failure ya?
No. The VSD doesn't seem to affect her daily sebab seems like nampak macam okey lagi from the history lah, from the setup.
So 3 months old. Okay. Tak apa, discuss macam tadi ya. Chronologically je lah. Apa? Birth kat mana tadi?
Birth at HTA at 38 weeks of gestation, normal spontaneous pretext delivery.
But weight?
Birth weight 2.67 kilogram.
So tak ada juga antenatal, tak ada apa-apa juga?
Antenatal was uneventful. Mother had no GDM or PE, preeclampsia during pregnancy. The postnatal, the patient had jaundice at second day of life until 1 month of duration. However, there's no further therapy needed. The doctor only advised to increase breastfeeding.
And then noted VSD tu murmur umur berapa?
The VSD was diagnosed at 1 month old at HTA, currently on related.
Referral ke memang pergi VSD terus, pergi GK kan mana? Itu macam mana?
Yang tu lah, kat sini dia tulis dekat HTA je.
Oh, usually kan 1 month kan pergi KK for apa namanya? Apa? 1 month untuk apa? Buat apa? Umur sebulan baby.
Vaccination.
All babies. Hah? Tak tahu aja. Hah?
Vaccination.
Vaksin apa?
Jadual dia tak ingat tu. At 1 month, second dose of Second dose Hep B.
Okay, kan dapat Hep B, maybe MO nurses kat sana noted any murmur and then refer to STA lah. And then diagnose, buat echo kan, jumpalah PhD. Apa tadi your CVS examination tadi?
There was murmur.
Iya, apa?
Pansystolic murmur, grade 4.
Baby pink kan, so generally pink,
The baby generally, there was no
pink tak ada
visible.
distress, tak ada
That is,
sindrom ya.
tak ada syndrome.
Peripheral pun tak ada apa juga ya, semua sama ya tadi. Pada volume, rate, regularity, radioradial, radiofemoral, and then collapsing pulse, buah, dan pergi precordial, maybe apex speed not visible ya, palpable kat mana apex speed dia?
The thrill, tak mention kat sini, dia boleh palpable, dia strip palpable.
Apex speed.
Oh, apex speed was at the left fifth intercostal space at mid axillary line.
Mid axillary. So displace ke tak displace?
Displace lah, yang tu displace.
Dari displace lah maknanya kan, dah kardiomegali nih baby nih. Tapi tak displace lagi ya? No any medication kan?
Ada medication prescribed with furosemide, spironolactone, and ketopril.
Oke lah, so maknanya ya baby ini in failure but treated lah, resolve with medication, so with anti-failure. Memang masa you check no respiratory distress but on anti-failure ya. So diagnosis dia ya in failure but treated with medication. Oke, kardiomegali. So murmur palpable lagi tadi tak? No palpable thrill ya?
Ada. It was pansystolic murmur grade 4 as there is palpable thrill.
Thrill ada?
Thrill ada.
Oke lah. So palpable thrill kat mana?
Dia tak beritahu kat mana.
So pansystolic murmur location kat mana?
Mid clavicular.
Sorry? Mid clavicular?
Pansystolic murmur. Don't know lah tu.
Don't know bola. Your expectation kat mana?
Gimana?
Itulah case up tak complete, you cari pula, you present pula. Your expectation yang you expect kalau VSD kat mana murmur dia?
Kat sternum. Kat ni, arah sternum, thrill.
Left or right?
Left.
Left sternal edge. Upper or lower?
Lower.
Kalau upper ya tadi itu yang PS tuh pulmonary area. Ini lower kan. Dia di ventricular septum tuh. IVS, interventricular septum. Location dia ya on LLSE, lower left sternal edge. So, kalau dengar pansystolic murmur kat situ ya VSD. Grade 4, maknanya thrill dia kat situ juga. Jadi kena paham. VSD itu macam tu. Alright. So noted, and then Dr. Amir diagnosed at 1 month bagi anti-failure, tapi now admitted for for bronchiolitis. Ya. Apa respiratory finding dia?
Respiratory finding, the apex was the chest of the vocal organs were bilateral. Bilateral lower zone crepitation was heard over the lung.
Crepitation only ya. So apa? You must understand juga nih what is bronchiolitis nih. Apa tadi story of SOPI of bronchiolitis dia apa tadi? Berapa hari sakit?
They 2 days fever, one day,
Okay. One day apa?
one day cough,
Okay. Then,
and then on day of admission, start repeat breathing.
okay, rapid breathing. Any noisy breathing or not?
No noisy breathing.
Cyanosis tak ada.
Cyanosis tak ada.
Chest indrawing ada. Tak tulis semua kat situ. Symptom of respiratory distress should be there lah. Present or absent kena sebut ya. Otherwise no cyanosis, no chest indrawing kena letak. Maybe sepatutnya ada. Masa chest examination apa respiratory examination apa jumpa?
The examination.
Still takipnik tak? Kat situ tulis.
Ada teknik.
Okay, takipnik. What else?
Question.
You kata tadi tak distress. Masa UCVS examination you kata tadi tak distress. Respiratory distress lah.
Yes, respiratory distress.
Yeah. Aduh, tak faham lah. Kita tadi kan dah clear masa CVS examination general you kena explain dia distress ke tak distress. Nah, ini patient on distress ya kena sebut lah.
Okay.
Sama je respiratory in distress, cardio pun ya in distress juga. Regardless the causes, maybe causes tu due to the lung infection atau due to the heart failure, mana-mana. Yang penting masa you examine, you sebut patient in respiratory distress. Lupa tak eh?
Betul. Start.
Okay. Apa ni? Distress apa lagi? Takipnik? What else?
There was no pain but in respiratory distress with evidence of subcostal and intercostal recession.
Oh lah, ada kan. Semua dah. Ada masa CVS pun disebut yang sama tadi. Masa general examination distress sama. Ada chest indrawing, ada subcostal, intercostal recession. Okay, and then?
And takipnik.
Yeah, and then next.
There was no peripheral cyanosis.
Okay lah, palpation apa tak boleh buat apa-apa kan, and then percussion resonance kan.
Percussion resonance.
Auscultation tadi Krebs only.
Auscultation only. Bilateral lower zone Krebs.
Crepitation. Okay, so you kena faham. Masa admission pun any data tak? Any noisy breathing? Any rhonchi, prolonged expiratory phase ada tak?
Tak ada.
Tak ada. So you kena faham what is bronchiolitis.
Okay.
Apa? Saya tanya ni.
So bronchiolitis negative sign. There's
Negative sign. Apa? What is bronchiolitis definition dulu?
Bronchiolitis is the inflammation of the bronchioles. 94. Hello.
Apa?
Viral bronchiolitis is a common respiratory illness, especially in infants aged 1 to 6 months old. Typically presents with tachypnea, chest congestion, wheeze, and respiratory distress.
Apa tadi? Definition awal tadi?
A common respiratory illness, especially in infants, age 1 to 6 months old.
Pathophysiology dia apa?
Pathophysiology dia
bronchiolitis.
Viral respiratory syncytial virus.
Patologi dia apa? Patologi dia. Dalam.
Tak boleh bagi lain.
Anyone yang lain boleh bantu
inflammation
jawab.
and swelling at the bronchioles.
Inflammation of bronchioles kan, simple kan. Once any infection maybe RSV kan, dia akan inflame kat situ bronchioles. Bronchioles tu is it lung, is it alveoli? Bukan kan. Is it an airway, upper or lower? It is an airway kan.
Airway lower.
lower airway, so dia kena inflame, dia obstructed kan. Saya tengah key-in juga. Tak apalah. Apa lagi? Kita masuk ke apa? Lupa. Ada 3 lagi kan?
Apa tu nak masuk contoh?
Obat-obat.
Betul.
Ada 3 lagi. Oh ya, vitamin K. Vitamin K dia apa nama dia? Kisan, okay. And then ada 2 lagi yang bawa balik. Betadine pun apa?
Azura kan?
Dapat continue, okay. Siapa Aziz ya?
Ya.
So kan lower airway obstruction due to inflammation tu kan dia akan obstructed. So kalau sama macam asma kan, bronchoconstriction obstructed akan dengar bunyi apa?
Bronchi.
Wheeze kalau keras sangat kan with ear, tapi kalau need auscultation ya bronchi.
Okay.
Dia akan pasti difficulty breath in or breath out kalau lower airway obstruction.
Difficulty breathe out.
Breath out. So suara dia ronchi itu, wheezing itu usually on inspiration or expiration.
On expiration.
Expiration kan, you need to hear ronchi on expiration, difficulty breath out akan jadi breathing sound dia, inspiration and expiration jadi panjang mana? Difficulty breath out jadi apa? Ini maksudnya. Nih. Dah. Yang bawa balik tak?
Yang bawa balik
Ada yang bisa 2 obat tu lupa je.
klinik.
CLI. Ni lagi satu.
Lepas tu dia punya mandian tu.
Tak apalah, Nus pun tak ingat. Apa tadi discuss apa? Aziz?
Ya, panjang
Adalah inspiration expiration mana yang panjang jadi kalau difficulty breath out.
expiration.
So you should hear a prolonged expiratory phase. Ronchi maybe tak dengar sangat, tak apalah kalau minimal obstruction. Tapi prolonged expiratory phase ya you dengar lah prolonged expiratory phase. Kalau prolonged wheezing tak ada, ronchi tak ada, prolonged expiratory phase pun tak ada. From where we diagnose bronchiolitis?
So most
From
probably
where we know the inflammation of bronchioles tu, unless kalau you buat bronkoskop, masukkan, nampak memang inflame, bolehlah diagnose bronchiolitis even though without any findings. Mana buat kan? Ini clinical finding kita kan, no sign of lower airway obstruction, ya bukan bronchiolitis. Only Krebs nih, Krebs tu usually classic finding for pneumonia itu apa? Patologi dia.
Patologi dia infection of the lung.
Inflammation of the lung lah. Actually lung apa? Lung alveoli atau parenchyma? Actually more on parenchyma kan, interstitial.
More on
kalau
alveola.
involve ya boleh secretion, ada banyak sputum kan. So kalau lung parenchyma inflammation jadilah dia pneumonia, Krebs. Jadilah you dengar Krebs, diagnosis pneumonia lah di case ini.
Okay.
Itulah. Masih salah pun ya ikut pula. Maknanya tak faham.
Okay.
Unless kalau on admission memang maybe tak tahulah maybe dokter in SDA diagnose bronchiolitis karena on admission jumpa tadi prolonged expiratory phase ke ronchi ke boleh. Kalau based on current finding kan Krebs pneumonia lah. And then it is common complication of patient with heart failure kan. Ya patient kan CHD in failure. Jadilah dia recurrent pneumonia. Kalau masa heart failure maknanya fail to pump kan, congested heart. Kalau pneumonia ni right or left heart congestion.
Right.
Belum ya? Yang lain agree tak? Tak ada yang komen, yang lain tidur semua nih. Buka lah gambar semua nih. Saya tutup gambar juga,
Live
lupa saya. Siapa nih? Jawab. Siapa tadi yang jawab? Coba. Tak nampak.
Live.
Sebut nama dulu tadi.
Khadijah.
Hah, sorry? Halo?
Khadijah.
Tak ada pula. Siapa?
Khadijah.
Khadijah.
Hadijah. Oh, Hadijah muka tak nampak pula. Left or right, Hadijah?
Left.
Oh, left. Kalau left heart congestion itulah pulmonary blood flow dia jadi congested. Jadilah paru dia isi air banyak. Jadilah pneumonia. Kalau right heart congestion apa yang you will find?
The heart congestion.
Patient with right heart congestion. Yang congested itu right ventricle and atrium. So yang congested will be vena cava kan. AVC and SVC. So you jumpa apa? Tak paham. Anyone?
Is IGV. Kena jugular vein.
Yang SVC akan jumpa increase GVP. Yang IVC jumpa apa?
Sisi
Hepatomegali. Kalau lagi teruk lagi sampai bawah-bawah jadi apa? Hepatomegali, liver pun enlarge. Kalau lagi teruk, leg edema. Itulah maybe ascites. Nah, itu simple. Kardio ni tak payah memorize ini kalau tak paham semua. Sebelum seminar heart failure belum ya?
Pak Wan dah.
Seminar heart failure dah.
Itulah seminar pun dah. Ibu apa masa seminar tidur main handphone tak paham juga. Macam mana ni? Nah, itulah. Macam ni tak nak pas. Sorry lah. Nanti kalau exam dengan saya, mananya you need to know your capacity kan, nanti repeat lagi 3 bulan lagi ya. Repeat masuk page balik, posting lagi. Aduh. Dah ya. Itulah patient-patient VSD boleh heart failure, simptom macam tu, boleh develop pneumonia. Apalagi nak discuss apa lagi? Dah ini kan last kan? Nah, ini je. Okay. Dah, ini kan? Flat. Kayak gini ya? BCG? Oh, BCG dah. Dah, BCG dah. Happy dah. Kisan dah. Pause ya? Pause drag ya? Dah kan? Close ya?
Tak ada probationary period.
Sorry, busy tengok patient coba dengan key in. Okay, anything nak tanya apa-apa lagi? Anyone? Dah?
Data yang babysitter saya.
No,
Question gang.
Okay, Aziz and all.
Ada doktor.
Dah? Anything? Any question lagi?
Doctor, I want to ask. Okay,
Mm-mm.
for systemic review in cardio, since this patient is 3 months old, so because can we mention about like symptom of heart failure like paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, orthopnea, or just mention about like prolonged feeding?
PND itu kan PND itu kalau dia lari jalan-jalan sempuk napas laju kan, mana ada baby lari, mana ada baby jalan. Nah, so itu apa symptom of baby with heart failure? Aziz kena jawab mana tadi,
Iya.
apa symptom dia? Baby akan describe apa kalau baby heart failure? Baby umur 3 bulan nih. Apa?
Less active.
Nasi aktif very general sangat. Tak boleh salah tapi tak dapat markah. Tak salah tak dapat markah. Yes.
Poor feeding.
Poor feeding.
Bukan poor feeding, difficulty feeding. Poor feeding itu kan kurang dapat makan, kurang dapat minum.
Difficulty in feeding.
Dia masa isap susu dia akan cepat berhenti. Usually baby itu 15-30 menit akan sucking breast tuh atau sucking bottle dia akan lama kan. Kalau patient with failure tak sampai 5 menit pun dah penat, dia akan berhenti. Feeding difficulty ya, bukan poor feeding. Ya memang in relation with feeding kan, tapi bukan poor feeding. Kalau poor feeding itu baby tak dapat minum, kita sebut poor feeding. Oke. Itu bukan itu. Ortopneo mananya kan kalau dia tidur kena pakai bantal. Mana ada baby pakai bantal, baby tidur aja kan. So tadi yang tuh you cannot mention ya the symptom yang ortopneo PND ini. Di exercise ni tak ada ya. Bukan tak ada, ya memang baby tak boleh buat itu semua. So baby feeding difficulty ya. Alright. Tadi buku mana? Buku belum keluar. Saya belum baca pula. Oh ya.
Yang Siti Salvia ni dia punya
dokumen boleh tulis kat bawah ya. Okay. Alright. Ada lagi Aziz, all? Ada lagi question?
Doktor, saya ada satu soalan doktor.
Yes.
Saya ada baca yang one of complications of VSD is pneumonia. So macam doktor cakap tadi, untuk develop pneumonia sepatutnya dia akan ada left congestion kan doktor. So saya nak tanya sebab VSD dia akan ada shunting from the left to the right. So it means that it will cause overflow dekat belah kanan. So it means that kalau nak develop pneumonia mesti heart failure dulu ke, or VSD itself can also cause pneumonia?
Yes, usually heart failure lah. Patient heart failure baru pneumonia. Kalau VSD without failure, unlikely pneumonia. Boleh je pneumonia but not due to the heart failure. Pneumonia due to kalau ada kuman masuk, the baby or the patient get any transmission, dapat COVID ke, dapat apa lagi, streptococcus jadi pneumonia boleh, everybody boleh. Tapi kalau baby with heart disease tu easier to get pneumonia due to the heart failure tadi, due to left to right shunt kan. So overflow to right ventricle, so masuk to overflow to pulmonary circulation, pulmonary artery yang semualah kat lung circulation tu. Jadilah kat situ jadi banyak fluid kan, pneumonia easier. Okay?
Okay, thank you doktor.
Alright. Dah? Anyone? Boleh kalau udah siap, we can close the session with a speaker for an answer. Oke ya, ya.
Thank you, Dokter.
Oke,
Okay.
thank you all. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam.
Doktor.